Man, this story doesn't even sound real. Is this real? When did this happen? I've been recommended this multiple times. 3 weeks ago, so this is recent, and it's from an official outlet. This is not clickbait, apparently, but Kentucky, a city in Kentucky, will apparently no longer exist after voters dissolve its government. Now, obviously, the land isn't going to, disappear, but the government, and thus the city in general, officially will no longer exist because the people there, I'm guessing being so conservative, have been so convinced government bad that they voted to dissolve the local government. When I tell you that Americans are brain dead and will mobilize on the most horrific causes you can imagine, I mean it, okay? You've got to be running on the most damaging, destructive, horrible policies imaginable to bring out the level of support that happens in these cases, right? Like, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene winning in a landslide every election she does, for instance, right? Good Lord, I am curious to see how real this is.
Small Kentucky town will soon be no more. An audit from Election Day confirmed that Bonnieville, Kentucky, voted to dissolve their local government by only...
So what will that area be called now? Just blank Kentucky? Kentucky going anarchist? I promise you, if you told them they were going anarchist, they would shoot you. They believe they're going MAGA, pro-American, libertarianism, oorah, oorah, red, white, and blue right now. I promise you. They do not believe they're going, anarcho-communist by any means. They would shoot you if you suggested it.
7 votes.
Yep, it was close. It's leaving residents with many questions on what will happen to City Hall, the roads, the street lights. It's all happening in northern Hart County, where Bonnieville is located, a community where just over...
It is very possible that I have been to this location in Project Zomboid.
200 Kentuckians call home. Jose Alonso has the story.
Actually, probably not, because there's the river, and that's Louisville. And so, Rosewood would be around here, maybe, if I were to guess. Around here would be Rosewood. And I think the map border is, around here. So I think Bonnieville is just a bit too south to be in the Project Zomboid map. Big oof.
200 Kentuckians call home. Jose Alonso has the story.
Just off I-65, you'll see a welcome sign for Bonnieville, Kentucky, which was established
Not
in
for long.
1958. But by next month, it'll be removed. So will the banners hung up on light...
Wait, that's so based there. Okay, I thought a lot of, the city stuff would just be left to rot and no one would be paid to get rid of it, but apparently they're taking it all down. The city's just not going to be a city anymore. Nice. Good shit, guys. Good job, Kentuckians. You're doing great. I can feel my T levels decreasing every time I hear you talk. Thank you, Chet. I appreciate your input in YouTube chat.
Poles on the main road.
We're making history. Sad history, but we're making history.
This map shows the current city limits of Bonnieville. But within the next 29 days, this map will be irrelevant as the city will dissolve and become part of Hart County.
On Election Day, residents...
Listen, the reason why we do not offer any sympathies to the people who voted for this or for Trump that are affected by it is that you need to constantly remember, after they won, they rubbed it in your face, okay? They used it as grounds to insult you, like that gentleman who I just banned. Don't feel any sorrow or sympathy for them when they start finding out because they fucked around. Let them find out, and laugh at them as they do.
Believed a majority voted against dissolving the city, but a second audit revealed it actually passed with 60 people voting no and 67 voting yes.
I'm gonna guess voter turnout in that small town is not very high. Well, that's what happens when you don't turn out to vote, I guess. Even in your local elections, you might get the news in the morning that your city is dissolving its local government because you didn't turn out to vote. And you and 10 other people could have changed that.
Mayor Marie Whitlow says an influx of new residents from other states started this petition to avoid paying city taxes.
How much you want to bet it's people who are conservative moving from cities to find cheap land And they're voting to dissolve the local government to get rid of the taxes, too. They moved away from Louisville, or a bigger city, into like a much more rural area for cheaper cost of living. And then on top of that, they voted in a place that they aren't even from to dissolve the local government so they wouldn't have to pay the city's taxes. Like property tax probably would be like, good God. Most counties have a place city taxes go to if you don't pay to a specific city that you are in. In King County, for example, it's Kent taxes if you're not incorporated into a city. What's wrong with her eye? I don't attack her. She's not like a bad guy in this story. She might have had a stroke at some point. Why are you making fun of her?
I don't know what it is about paying taxes.
But she was literally just halfway through a blink. It was just a bad pause frame, dude. Like, come on, MILF Slayer. What's the rudeness?
Lowest rate in Hart County on property taxes. And they just got all mad one time, got together, a little community up behind the school, mainly, and decided to do away with the city.
No city government.
I want to, like, pack up all my things and move to some, like, podunk 300 pop town in the middle of America and, like, become the mayor of the town by moving my fans out, convincing my fans to move to the town and vote for me for local mayor. And then I basically want to become like Boyd and From, but of the town, you know? Like I'll like walk around the town every sunset ringing a bell just for the fun of it. And I want to be such a small town. Not only am I guaranteed to win a leadership position, but everyone will know me and I'll know everyone. That shit would just go hard. I feel like that's doable. Not beating those sex cult allegations, Zan? Oh yeah, and then we just turn it into like IRL, or as if it wasn't IRL in the first place. We just turn it into like lefty Waco. Yeah. Yeah, Xandertown.
Means no local funds for events like their annual 4th of July celebration. Organizer Kimberly Edwards says it's disheartening.
The city sponsored my insurance, and the insurance to shut down the roads and have the parade is very expensive. Right now it's $1,000 just for insurance in the band. And you know, that's not all the expenses for 4th of July, but...
Come to Missoula and be my mayor. What's the pop there?
They were a big help this year.
The local government has 30 days from Wednesday to clear City Hall and determine what items like computers will go to the county. I met with the petition's author who says their group does not want to be on camera or gloats about the win. Even with the city dissolving, there's still a chance for them to reestablish themselves in the future. In Bonneville, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 on your side.
Gotta understand, Americans will mobilize on the worst imaginable ideas and movements. It's why I need you guys to understand that class consciousness is not the proper way forward for the left. Not on its own, I should say. Class consciousness is good, but I feel like hyper focusing on that as a way of reaching people just opens you up to like right-wing populists like using the same rhetoric but with a tinge of right-wing culture war shit to get people like half the way there already, you know? Oh man, there's this great meme. European farmers meme. It is actually insane how many times this meme has been proven right. It is actually insane. From the account God Hates Flags, not the F slur, but I assume this... I'm going to guess like a gay person runs this account based on the context. European farmers mobilizing on the worst political cause you've heard of in your life. And it's like the walking towards the camera scene from Monsters, Inc. Yeah, so this is so fucking real. And I need you to understand, obviously farmers, you could argue they're not even working class, but the thing about farmers is even if they make a massive amount of money, so much of their money is reinvested back into making more for the next season. That like most farmers, even if they're making millions, they're not taking home anywhere close to that, right? And so most farmers identify as working class, and working class messaging they think applies to them at least. And so with that in consideration, like you will see working class groups appealed to and mobilizing on the worst possible ideas. because at the end of the day, I don't see the left using class consciousness to mobilize people in the same way the right does, you know? Most farmers don't actually even make that much. Many individual farmers are basically serfs, while in the US, I think that's true. Man, I think it depends on what you consider farmer. I'm curious. Average US farmer income. The average income for a U.S. farmer varies depending on the type of farm and the sources of income, but there is some information about farm income. Median total household income is usually around $95,000 to $74,000 a year. Well, there you go. Yeah, so they absolutely would be considered working class. Obviously, median means like you're accounting for like what's the most common middle of the road, not the average. Okay, yeah. Apparently, it varies a lot based on farm costs, farm type, farm size, median off-farm income, and median, like, there's a lot of other factors here. But yeah, for the most part, farmers are considered pretty working class. And despite that, they will mobilize in numbers unforetold in order to vote against their best interests or to shut down programs and institutions that directly help them.
Now, we reached out to Hart County Judge Executive Joe Code about this situation, and he says, with the city of Bonneville's decision to dissolve and transfer its assets to the county, we will be taking over the maintenance of the city streets, which will become county roads. While the county doesn't handle street lights, we are committed to work closely with everyone involved during this change.
Small Kentucky.
I'm sure this small Kentucky town, as they say, will be given plenty of treatment and support from the county, and they will not come to regret their vote to dissolve their local city government by any means. I'm curious what the comments are. I thought this was an Onion article. There are a lot of comments to this that are all saying I thought this was an Onion article. Man, we really are living in a post-truth world. People are willing to vote for the worst things now. And I genuinely don't know what our next election in 2026 is going to look like. I don't. I don't know what it's going to look like, those midterms. It could be another really bad one, or hopefully the American people feel the results of a Trump presidency fast and they attribute blame to the right people, because I will literally rip my hair out on stream if for the first time in history Americans are able to blame a previous administration for what would be presumed the failures of the current one, but they blame it on Biden instead of Trump. If they do that shit, if they finally start blaming, the American people at large start blaming a previous administration for current problems, and it's to benefit Trump, I will tear my hair out. My brain will genuinely break if that happens. I won't be able to do this anymore. I will have lost to the last shred of faith I had in humanity if that's what ends up happening. They will. You better get ready to pull that hair out, Zan. It's inevitable at this stage. Well, don't doom her. We can't see the future. I'm just telling you what I'll do if that ends up being the case. Why not call them out? I mean, that's what I'll be doing. Did I ever say I wouldn't? Did I ever say I wouldn't? Anyway, with all that said, I appreciate you guys watching this segment. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon, and comment as well. All these things do immense good to help my channel and the algorithm and force YouTube to show my stuff to more people, especially if you're watching live right now. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Seriously, it's hugely helpful. And of course, if you haven't already as well, consider following my social medias, linked down below in the description. You've got my Instagram, my Twitter, my Discord, my Blue Sky, which I'm getting a lot more active on, my Patreon, everything. Go check out my social medias. You can see more from me on other platforms. And if you haven't already, you should consider supporting me directly if you want to help me keep the lights on, a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch through the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless of how you support me, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a good one. Bye, everybody.